Hey everybody, today's video is brought to you by Keeps. Now, a lot of you guys know I'm over 35 years old, and in good old human form, I'm starting to lose my hair a little bit, starting to thin out, and that's where Keeps comes in. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. The good news, with today's advancements in science, Keeps offers proven treatments that can combat the symptoms of hair loss. You used to have to go to the doctor's office for your hair loss prescription. Now, thanks to Keeps, you can visit the doctor online and get medication delivered right to your home. No more waiting rooms and no more pharmacy checkout lines. Get doctor's attention and discreet drug delivery, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. Find out why Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors, and nearly 100,000 men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention medication. Keeps treatments start at just $10 a month, plus for a limited time, you can get your first order for 40% off. So try out Keeps and save 40% off your first order by going to keeps.com/SSR. That's KEEPS.com/SSR. I've put a link in the description to make it easy. All right, everybody, Rob Ferretti here, and today I'm going to tell you how to avoid getting screwed by an exotic car rental company. The methodology does work over to regular car rental companies, but the big car rental companies traditionally aren't out to screw you on nitpicky damage like an exotic car rental company would do. And the reason for that is the exotic car rental companies are working with much bigger dollar amounts. If they can say you damaged a wheel and they're going to charge you for a wheel, they're going to charge you for a $2,000 wheel they're going to fix for $25. So let me tell you, A, how to avoid this, and then B, or at least do your best to avoid it, but B, if you do damage something, how you can make sure you're not getting screwed, and same thing, they're not charging you $75 or whatever, they're not charging you $2,000 and fixing something for $75, because nobody likes getting taken advantage of. So most of the major car rental companies will do something where they have you walk around the car and say like, hey, we want you to just, here's a little form, just if you see any damage, just jot it down, you hand it to the person as you leave the garage. Well, that's shifting the burden of proof onto you. Like, you're a customer renting a car. You're not an expert in examining the car. You don't know what damage to look for, what not to look for, and you end up just saying like, yeah, whatever, close enough. But you do run the risk of coming back and them saying like, well, there's a little dent here, and this is why the major carriers are pretty good. The little dents, anything like smaller than a golf ball or 6 inches or less, they usually let slide, is okay. It's when you go to the bigger dollar cars, like the exotic car rental companies or something like that, that magnifies, because they're not going to let you slide on a door dent on a Ferrari. They're going to make you fix the door. And that's where they do the same methodology where they're like, yeah, let's walk around the car. You want to walk around the car with me, look for damage? They'll walk around the car, but you don't really know what you're looking for. A lot of the times when you're spending thousands of dollars to rent a car, you want to be somewhere else. You don't want to be lying on the ground and looking for damage. But that contract and what you put on that contract and sign to on that contract is essentially what they're going to use to come after you later. And I've seen it a couple of times now. We've done a lot of rentals as consumers, and I've seen a lot of people end up in situations where they're almost getting charged for damage, or they're getting charged for damage that they haven't done. Most recently, we were just in Europe, and I was helping all the customers check out their cars. I was walking around the cars. Here is what I do, and here's how to help yourself avoid the charges. You go around the car, and don't trust yourself. Don't trust your eyes, because there's damage there that may be there that they point out, they don't point out. They may knowingly not point it out, knowing that it's there, because they're going to try and charge you later. Photos. Use your cell phone. Photos, photos, photos. Take at least 15 photos of the car. When I say 15, every wheel individually, every single wheel. Not like at night. Use the flash. Get good photos of the car. Every panel, go. And these aren't like glamour photos. I'm not talking about like, all right, I got the entire side of the car on one shot. These are photos that you're going to want to reference when you go back and say like, oh, see, I didn't do that. That's not there. Because the GTR that one of the guys on Adventure Drive just rented in Europe, they tried this. And the car was there. I checked it out for him because he was jet lagged and passed out face down in his bed in his room. So I did the entire check-in. But we came back and they're like, well, we've got 2 new spots of damage on the wheel, and we got 1 spot of damage on the front bumper. So here's where I had to come in and say like, well, show me. And the wheels, and this is what boggles my mind. I could never do this as a reputable business. I could never just, if the wheel's already damaged, I can't charge somebody else for doing more damage. If it doesn't change the repair, I can't charge you for that. The underside of most of my bumpers underneath the car are scraped up. If you do another scrape, how can I charge you? It's already scraped. Like, it's the same repair. I've got to get the first guy for it, but everybody else, it's fair game. Now, if you damage it so that the top side of the bumper or something visible from like when you're standing up is damaged, it's a different story. I'm going to now have to go in and actively repair that bumper versus just underneath scrapes. That's a very different story. If you go around the wheel and like the wheel, just say it costs $150, $200, whatever it costs to refinish an entire wheel, as long as you don't bend it or anything like that, that repair is the same. Now, these companies, they'll go out and they'll take one $150 repair and they'll charge like 8 or 10 people. Oh yeah, you could see how we marked the wheel is damaged here, but that's not there, and that's obviously new damage. And they tried that, and I got them both times. I said, where? Show me. And then I used the markings on the tire or the valve stem as a reference, zoomed in, and he's like, you're right, that was there already. You're right, that was there already. So I got both wheels and the front bumper. That customer did not get charged for any damage. The other customer also did not get charged for damage on the Ferrari that they rented because I went around and I did this whole process. So, Rob, you're in the business. What do? Well, I don't shift that burden onto the customer. It's up to my company to prove that somebody damages the car. I take photos before and after, and if I can't show my customer in photos that he damaged the car, it's on you. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, I think that nobody wants to have a bad experience. If there's a rock chip that I missed, you know what? I've got to eat that. If there's a wheel that gets damaged and I can't prove that you damaged it, I've got terrible pictures or whatever the situation may be, that's my cost of doing business. Not that you're putting it on the customer saying like, hey, you damaged the rear tailpipe. Well, I didn't even look at the rear tailpipe when I got the car. Well, it's not marked on the contract and now it's damaged, so sign this, give me your insurance, and then they hit the insurance. I don't like that. It's a terrible way of doing it. So when you're renting a car, even a regular car, it's digital space on your phone. Takes up nothing. Everybody's got a 20 megapixel camera on their phone right now. Take 100 pictures around the car, before, after. Don't forget to do it. You can't drive away and then do it. Do it. Make sure you have a photo where you can see the context as to where it is, and you'll cover yourself. Do under the front bumper, under the rear bumper, all of these places that they're likely to get you for. And you're at least, it's not foolproof, but it does a hell of a lot, and it goes a long way for you to prove your case as to not damaging something. I don't know what it is. It's just whether it's easy money, it's stuff that these companies rely on. I'm in business to rent cars. I want to rent you a good car. I want you to enjoy it. I don't want you to damage it, and I don't want you to take it on the track either. But I do not want to charge you for something that ruins your experience. I want you to have a good experience, get a good car, and come back. You can have you can damage a wheel, you can bend it in half. Great, you just pay for it. And I'm going to show you that you damaged it, but you then are not upset about it because you're like, look, can't argue with the photos. Here's me in the background and you taking photos, and clearly there was no damage when I got it. I didn't see, but clearly there's damage now that I'm bringing it back, whether it was a valet, whether it was the magical pothole, whatever it is. It's an easier pill to swallow when I prove to somebody that they damaged the car. It's worked very well for me for a very long time, and that's the best way to go about it. So just some food for thought. It's a very common thing that these companies try to go after them. Now, just say you did damage something, and you're trying to now avoid somebody from overcharging you. Well, you have the right to request the parts. So you can get competitive estimates. They should be giving you 3 estimates for something, and then you have the right to the part back. If you're paying for the part, they should send it to you. Like if with the GTR, if there was the front carnard underneath there on the front bumper, you say, well, you damaged it. Well, what I would do, okay, well, cool. If you're charging me $1,000 for that, I'm looking it up online right here at Nissan. It's only $250. I'll order one and get it overnighted to you. That's one play. And I would like you to send me the other one. That is something that you can do. If you do damage somebody's car, I don't think they have to fix it. I think they're entitled to the repair cost, and if they want to sell it crashed as is, they can still charge you for that. But that's a whole nother story. That's stuff that I don't even begin to want to get involved in. But for me, I'm in the business. Somebody damages something, I want to get it fixed. I want them to pay to get it fixed, and I want them to make me whole. But there's a lot of companies that are unsavory out there that are renting cars, and you can tell by looking at the cars that you're renting, there's already damage all over it. So why are they delivering you a car with damage? it's a good indication that they're going to try to hit you for more damage when you're out there. And that's because they're not fixing it. They're just using it, hoping you're going to miss something to keep banging people for the same damage as essentially part of their business model. So they get you for your $1,000 rental, and then they get you for another $2,000 in the back end. That sucks. Something you want to avoid, but it's just more common in the industry than it should be. And I hope I helped you protect yourself from that in the future. Thanks for watching. Rob Ferretti, signing out. For those of you not familiar with my other company, I started a company called Adventure Drives, which combines driving and bucket list travel. It's a lot of fun. If you're interested, prices can be done per person. Don't worry if you don't have somebody to go with you, we can match you up with somebody. You can check the link in the description for adventuredrives.com and sign up today.